right? So no question, my eldest cousin, who has got something like 12 years distance between the youngest one, maybe even more, 14 years, basically became secondary parent, if not primary parent. Yeah, basically kids kind of raise themselves. But you got to hit five. It's like language learning. You can't learn two languages. It's absolute rock. You learn three languages, also rock. You learn four languages, suddenly gets easier. Five languages, six, seven, eight, it suddenly becomes like, oh, okay, I get it. And I think this is how it might go. I think programming languages may be the same way. I don't know.
I'm sure.
Anyway, welcome everybody to Brain Food Live on Air, bringing it to you every Friday, no fail. It's episode 369. I've actually lost count as to how many episodes we're doing. It's probably well over 400 to be honest. My numbering system, if you actually follow the podcast, you know it's all over the place. So someone should probably archive it and see actually how many we've done. But it's definitely over 369 now. And today, I'm very excited to have this conversation with you because I, like most of us, are a laggard when it comes down to AI adoption, folks. I don't have any shame in admitting this, even though I am intellectually curious as to why I'm so slow. Because usually I don't think I'm dumb, but I'm not getting there. I'm still using ChatGPT's basic level. So why is that? And today we're going to bring on a bunch of people who I think are kind of leading edge adopters of AI within our TA community. And they're going to do some education, but also maybe start a discussion as to what the mental shift is. What is the AI adoption journey going to be? How do we crash through such that we actually get the benefit, reap the benefit and the dividend from artificial intelligence? So it's going to be a wonderful show. Topic is optimizing recruiter workflows with AI and real examples. So we're going to do a different show this week. We're going to demo a bunch of AI sort of optimizations of workflow that are kind of appropriate for recruiters, and we're going to show you how basically it works. Okay, brilliant stuff. I'm here with my good friend and co-host, Alla Pavlova. Alla, wonderful to see you as ever. Of course, I think people probably know you very well by now, but I wonder whether you could quickly introduce yourself, who are you and what it is you do.
Thanks. I'm wondering if I change the hair color, will people recognize me? So that's one thing I'm asking myself. Am I famous for what I do or for the hair color? So maybe I will check it one day, but not
You
now.
actually haven't changed the hair color for a while now, have you? So it's been
For
that
10
red
years.
for how 10
10
years?
years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know you another color. So this is
Whiskey.
it. Yeah.
Exactly. Hello, everyone. I'm Alla Pavlova, based in Amsterdam. I'm still hands-on, doing a lot of work in recruitment. It's sourcing. It's a little bit of automation. I do also trainings for recruiters, for prompting, anything related to sourcing as well. Excited to be here because I was promised, as you are, that AI is taking over. And to be honest, I'm just waiting for it to take a lot of things from me, and I'm excited to be at the show because great speakers are joining, and they're gonna help us to see like where we are right now.
Yeah, brilliant stuff. Alla Pavlova, just share the link in the chat stream there. Make sure you connect with Alla, must follow person in the industry and great character on LinkedIn as well. Okay, before we kick this off, of course, we have to thank our sponsors for the show. Brain Food Live is sponsored every week. Basically, we have to thank the companies, the RecTech community, really, for stepping up and just making sure these conversations continue. And today's sponsor is one of our favorites. It is Juicebox. Juicebox, of course, fresh off their mega Series B raise, raising 80 million USD Series B to build out their agentic AI assistant. I think they're going to be much bigger than just a sourcing tool. I think version 1 was just sourcing and basically enabling you to do natural language sort of queries and searching the internet essentially and bringing back candidates. I do think with Series B, they're going to expand to much more than that. So do keep an eye out for it. They're also going to build a HQ in London, which is fantastic. So there's going to be some recruitment work there. I dare say it will be a very good job to recruit for a Juicebox in the London and for the EMEA group. And of course, they're a great tool you can try for free. Juicebox.ai. Go ahead and grab it. I do think even if you went and sort of get the paid plan, I do believe there's also still a brain food discount there. So just type in caps lock brain food, see if it works. and you might even get some discount off it. Anyway, if you're looking for a sourcing tool, Sourcing Edge, juicebox.ai, there you ticket. Okay, cool. Alla, let's just blast through the newsletter real quick because we want to get to the demos. But did you read the newsletter last week? And if so, pick out a couple of things that you thought were interesting.
Sure. Although it was my birthday, I still open up and start reading the news.
Happy birthday, Alla. Did I know this? I did know this. Shit.
I actually congratulate you so that you know me. I'm joking.
Yes.
Don't worry, don't worry.
Alla Pavlova's big birthday happened last week. Congratulations, Alla. Happy birthday.
Huge birthday. Great to be older. Yeah. But about the brain food, so I'm gonna drop you're gonna drop the link for Andrej Karpathy. So he's the search for US job market visualizer. I hope it's the one that's the last one from the last newsletters.
Yes.
I really recommend everybody to follow Andrej Karpathy because he is one of them first people pioneers in AI world. I follow his career for many years. He actually has a GitHub repository when he has orchestrated model that has built basically the circle of all the models that talk to each other. They had to find the convincing reply to give it to him. So, and it's for free, available on GitHub. It's a little bit technical read, but I really, really recommend this read what he done with a US job market visualizer. It's interactive, and if you're in US market, I think it will be some of the things are really kind of picking up and interesting to see. Like for example, for me, AI computer growing. Is it growing? Is it actually like going down? So yeah, very nice demonstration of the situation on the market. If you're interested.
Yeah, I love this for two reasons, isn't it? Number one, it's a great demonstration. Like it looks like he hacked it out himself. I mean, I'm sure he easily did it with a bit of vibe coding. But it's also a demonstration as to how talent intelligence essentially is becoming super democratized, right? Because probably you don't need to be Andrej Karpathy to be able to produce a visualization like that. Probably a lot of the folks coming onto the panel could do the same. And just bringing public data, that's usually very difficult. And you know, it's put in a PDF or something. It's like a terrible website. Just pull it out directly and then present it in a much more user-friendly way. And suddenly you've got a tool that actually helps you understand what the state of the labor market is. I've just shared that in the chat, chat, by the way. So karpathy.ai/jobs, and you'll see basically this visualizer. Great tool. But yeah, Karpathy, person you should follow. Okay.
Definitely. Next one. Inside Chinese robotics revolution. Oh my God, what's going on? I mean, I watched a few conferences. I think it's just like there is like vacuum cleaners walking the stairs, robots that do taking care of your kids. It's just, yeah, I think it's just the tip of the iceberg on what is happening in robotics right now. And I don't know if what your experience on with recent conferences, but I see robots more and more, and this is actually exciting.
No, they're everywhere, aren't they? Humanoid robots walking out with Mrs. Trump. I mean, I don't know whether you saw that. I mean, basically,
I thought it's a fake.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know anymore these days. But I think basically the embodied AI is going to be everywhere. The stair climbing, vacuum cleaning robot, I'm definitely going to buy. Money no object. That's going to be an absolutely essential purchase in my view. And yeah, they're going to do stuff. I don't know whether you've kept an eye out on teleoperations, how people are wearing cameras and they're doing like laundry folding and they're cleaning hotel rooms and stuff like this. That's like millions of jobs, you know.
That's what I want to be automated, just in case, like doing the dishes and cleaning the house. This is where I want AI to be.
That's going to happen, and I think we're going to get robotics in the domestic space. I do think Elon Musk, even though he's a sort of bête noir these days, hard to kind of quote him, but he is probably right in the sense that it's going to be the next big consumer purchase. People are going to want to have a robot basically as a home help, and we're very close to getting that. Yeah, anyway, brilliant article by The Guardian of all things. You know, them brain food I typically avoid sort of mainstream media, but sometimes they come out with a brilliant sort of piece of journalism. I'll just share in the chat stream there. Make sure you check it out. Okay, give us one more before we start rolling this forward, Alla.
Yeah, the final one. I find it very beautiful report from Anthropic for 81,000 how they call people wants from AI. And I think it's interesting to calibrate what people really want from AI. Some people just browsing, and as you said, you're just like the user of the basic things, but the expectations are very different, and I was fascinated about a few data points here, people using AI to really complete some of the day-to-day tasks so that they can go home and, like, I don't know, pick up their kids from work. But there's also some interesting data on what people worry about, and we just had COVID, then the wave of layoffs, 2021, 2022, and then 2023, the boom of AI. So I think the anxiety level in general is very much high, and people, yeah, they're worried in general. But the main worry about AI that you can't rely on it. Maybe sometimes, like, it's not empathetic enough. It's like not doing what you expect it to do. So this read is very, very good. It's very lengthy, I would say.
Yeah.
But you can find some interesting color coded even sentiments of the AI towards the word where it's used the most, and when it's coming from. No surprise, US is, I think, one of the biggest user.
No, especially with Claude, right? But I tell you what, Anthropic do a brilliant job with producing this type of data, and I think they do. I think has a great PR benefit for them doing that. Like, they seem to be better at doing this type of reporting than OpenAI are, and indeed anybody else. And so, it's starting to become the cool cats of AI, really. And I think a lot of this communication is over communication is a big part of it. So kudos to them for their content strategy. A tip for any recruitment technology business, as a matter of fact, or any business, the more open you are, the more you share your own work and your own discoveries, the more empathetic you get, the more sympathy you get with the rest of the market. Some kind of vibe like that.
Yeah, they also
Anyway.
have. Oh, sorry. They also have on the
What?
websites the statements. How do they use AI for recruiting? And so, like, they also say what is good. Like, it's not good to ask to write your CV, but it is good to ask to do the research. So I think it's very interesting that they have it in the career page. I don't see it often for companies saying, "I will allow an AI, I will not allow an AI," and how you can use it. So check out the career website. Also interesting.
I would say that would be table stakes for anybody right now. Like, literally make a statement on your career page to say, this is how I'm using AI. And I think that basically it will fill in some gaps that is currently a vacuum right now. And by the way, yes, Leandro Gomes, thank you very much. Is OpenAI the new Yahoo? What do you think, folks? That should actually be the poll for this show. Anthropic the new Google? I think it kind of is in that way. Okay, let's get on with this show. Alla, you're part of this conversation. You're an advanced AI user also. Sort of, what's your understanding as to, why certain people seem to be more advanced with the adoption of AI versus certain others? And we're not saying, people are better or worse. I don't think that's necessarily the case. Maybe it's a matter of aptitude. Maybe it's something else. But what do you think has been the difference between, people who've really got the, times 10x value from AI compared to the other people like me? AI is kind of okay, but it doesn't do much for me right now. How would you contrast the two here?
I don't agree, knowing how much you read and how much you understand. And I saw your conversations with tech people, so please don't say that about you. You're quite advanced. I think it's a mindset a little bit as well, and also can be the companies are still preventing us from using tools without, like, legal approval, info security. So, and there are so many news. So basically, you get lost. Like, something is fake, something is, like, not safe to use. Your data will be leaked. So on one side, companies are pushing, hey, you have to use what we allow you. Another side, you can't rely. There's a lot of messages that you can't rely on what AI is given to you, and it's supposed to be a threat. And I think the people who are trying, they look at this more with the curiosity and open mindset. Oh, there's something new. And I think all sourcers, they were the first one to jump into to that, because we used to try new things, build, break. You agree?
I totally agree. And I think also, if you think about sourcing, it was always a little bit gray area as to whether it was okay or not. I mean, basically, you're trying to just use a system in a way probably they didn't instruct you to use, like to hack around some of the permissions and so on, right? And so maybe there's a little bit more risk appetite or a little bit more willingness to kind of break a system in the source mentality, I believe. Yeah.
So I guess like with the also opportunity to learn, like recruiters also busy at work, and it does look like a lot of companies became a little bit linear, so they don't have big teams, and maybe people are not making enough time to learn. But I know a lot of folks who are thinking that they're not technical enough. And this is another perception, like I'm not a developer, I'm not a coder, so can I actually understand what's going on? I think AI usage has all the levels. It's like my mom level, my level, your level, and Marcel level. So it's like everybody can. The most important message I want to say: everybody can find what they can do with AI currently for personal or professional life.
Yeah, absolutely. And we all need to just dive in. So let's do that right away. And we're going to bring on a host of folks in our industry that are kind of advanced experimenters and users and implementers of AI. And we'll crack on through this. Some of them are in the chat here already. I don't think there's any particular order, but Nick did suggest that he wanted to come first because he does, in fact, have to pick up his kids. So let's bring Nick on first, and we'll see how we go. Folks, the way we're going to do this, we're going to have a quick chit chat, and then we're going to do a screen share, and then see where we're at. I think let's have a look. Like what I want this session to be is to allow people like me and maybe your mum. Your mum and me are probably in the same group, to be honest, Ala. We're just we need to see it. Do you know what I mean? We need to see it. So let's see how we go. Folks, whilst Nick's coming on, I want you to check out sort of the poll on the right-hand side as well. Go and give us a click on one of those topics there. I'd be interested to know what your general vibe is on this. The question is, how would you rate your interest in using AI to optimize your workflow? Okay, cool. There we have Nick Ricards. Nick, great to see you, mate. Looking well. And I know, by the way, you're on deadline, aren't you? So I don't want to waste too much of your time.
I picked up little man now. I dashed home.
Oh, no worries. Good stuff. I hope I didn't interrupt sort of his very important education, so his dad can come on and help us with this. But no, let's quickly introduce yourself, Nick. Give us your 10-second intro. Who are you? What it is you do?
I'm Nick Rickard. I've been in recruitment for maybe 15 years or something. Always been interested in tech. A year and a half ago, I stopped my renewables recruitment business to go all in with AI. I am building platforms for businesses now, where they are effectively having multiple agents or agent teams and integrating it with their own custom databases. The main objective is connectivity.
Yeah, fantastic stuff. So great that you've launched your career into this. And yeah, I'm gonna ask the same question to everyone here as they come on and off. What's the difference between an early adopter in AI and a late adopter? What's your general vibe on that?
I think early adopters are usually more risk orientated, I suppose. And people who are a little bit later, they're a little bit less maybe risk averse. Some people love change, other people don't like as much change. And I can only really talk about it for myself, to be honest with you. But I quite like a bit of risk if something new comes in that I think is going to be interesting. I'm usually an all-in or all-out kind of person, and I think that a lot of folks, for completely understandable reasons, they're not necessarily jumping into AI all in just yet because they've either had bad experiences, they're being missold like left, right, and center, and there's a lot of noise at the moment, which is naturally making people skeptical.
Yep, absolutely correct. And Bob Pulver there, really important point as well. Level of optimism, like your general outlook on life, I think maybe has an impact. And all obviously, last 5 years has been like massive roller coaster. So wherever you are psychologically on that up and down, I can imagine that having an impact on things as well. Very important point also on prior experience. I think if you're once bitten, you are definitely twice shy. So I do think it's very important that we're careful with a lot of this. All right, Nick. I think a challenge for you and the rest of the brain trust is say, look, can you show us something about optimizing a workflow? And I guess that's what I've got to ask you now. Can you tell us what it is before you show us? What was the state before, and what have you optimized? And then we go to screen share.
It's not actually one thing that I've optimized. It's a whole thing. But I just show you a specific part maybe. I'm going to show you a platform that I'm building for a company at the moment, which will be hopefully deployed next week. They've got the traditional bullhorn and loads of other technology that isn't talking to each other. So we've created a custom database with the ability to be able to build agent teams that are completely custom to them, so that they can actually build their own workflows, essentially. That might sound a little bit crazy, but when I show you, it might make a bit more sense. But they're designed. They're ultimately designed to work either autonomously or triggered by yourself.
All right. So current state is company has a load of technology. They've purchased a lot of tools. Then tools don't talk to each other. They want that to happen, and what you're going to do is create a system which allows them to create agents, which basically help those tools talk to each other.
Yep, everything's connected into each other. Yeah.
Yep. Cool. Okay, let's have a look, man. It sounds like probably super complicated, but I'm sure you're going to simplify it for us, Nick. Let's have a look.
How do I share my screen?
If you go down to the bottom, there should be an icon with an up. Yeah.
Okay, nice.
By the way, folks, if you have any questions for Nick or any of the other panelists coming in, make sure you use that ask a question function and put it there because we're going to go to it at the end of the show. Right. What are we looking at here, Nick?
So this is effectively like their dashboard. So they've got like basically all of the agents, their sole purpose is to remove the admin and to generate leads and shortlists, so that their consultants can literally go through their jobs, understand all their shortlists, and actually just call people as opposed to resourcing. So that's one part of it. The other part of it is to generate leads, which can then turn into opportunities, which agents, again, the whole identifying companies, finding, enriching them, all that stuff that takes us ages to do on LinkedIn, that's all automated, so that they just see the output, which they then approve. Emails get drafted out, and once they're approved and sent, it's all tracked, and it goes down a sequence. So if you imagine what probably all 364 people in this we do on a manual basis, okay, that is essentially all automated by agents that the user controls, where there's human in the loop. It's designed so that people can speak to other people as opposed to be on LinkedIn all the time or do the admin. All right.
Yeah.
So I'll show you an example.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a BD agent. Okay.
Maybe we can make it a little bit bigger. I'm sorry, because I think it's quite small text.
Can you see this? I've really zoomed in now. Can you see that all right?
Yeah, it's better, much better. Thank you so much.
Okay, cool. So a good way of thinking about this, right, is imagine that this is an employee in your business. All right, this is John. You just started your business. John, you teach John how to use LinkedIn, right? You teach John how to write good emails. You teach John how to headhunt a company. You teach John how to CV strip, right, and look for opportunities. What we've basically done here is we have turned those individual things like LinkedIn searching, CV stripping into individual tools, right? So the ability to go onto LinkedIn and do a search, or the ability to write an email and send the email. Okay, so John, the employee, can do all of these things. All an agent is replacing John with an LLM. So this could be Claude, Grok, Gemini, whatever. It gets a task, it figures out which tool it needs to use, it then creates an output. Simple as that. A lot of people really overcomplicate agents, but effectively it's like an employee that understands how to use some tools. Make sense?
Perfectly, mate.
Yep.
So
what you're looking at here, is one of their BD directors. So with this particular client, this director has the ability to go onto LinkedIn, go onto a company, all right, let's say Hayes, right, and then find all of the resources at Hayes. Why? Because we've trained it of how to go onto LinkedIn, how to go onto Hayes, how to find a resource or what a good resource looks like. Simple as that. All right, just like you would do with a trainee. If you wanted to do a database search, it's trained to do that as well. So the logic here, and this is where one of my main gripes, if anybody knows me, they know how much I tend to hate old traditional CRMs. You can't do anything with it. Yet we live in a get culture, right? We try and get information, we get answers. But if we go on Bullhorn, we have to do a big keyword search and scroll through 200 people, which is why we don't do it, which is why we go on LinkedIn. But in this instance, you could just say, for example, ask it a question, and it gives you the candidates. Okay, this is just simple database interaction. All right. Where it can get a bit more interesting though now is if you said, for example, if you've got a really good candidate called Nick Rickard, who's in your database, 9 times out of 10 recruiters don't do this, and they know they should do it. You can say, he's a great candidate, find him a job. And what effectively happens is the director is taking that request, he's having a little think about it. He's then deciding what tools he needs. So you can see here, routing to job hunter team. Job hunter team. The job hunter team has got a search LinkedIn. So, you know, when you go on LinkedIn and you go on jobs and you type in, you know, recruitment consultant in Texas or whatever, and it comes up with all those people. That's effectively what that is there. Job searcher is who do we have in our database? What companies we have in our database that might be good, and do they hire? Have they got any intent? Have they had any LinkedIn posts saying that they're hiring, etc.? Okay. So what the BD director in this instance is basically saying is going through the job hunter team to try to find the outcome, okay, or to try and find leads. Then, and this is designed so that it just works. All right, you don't have to sit here unless you're a nerd like me and you're sitting there watching it. It's not designed for that. Okay. What it's designed for is it generates the leads, which then consultants log into this. They see the leads, and what they could maybe do. Let me pick this one here. They see the reasoning as to why that job is relevant. These guys do aviation engineering, so we trained it on aviation. You can find the hiring managers just by clicking a button, and it brings it all up. You can then also check your database to see if there's any candidates that might be suitable, which might be here. So if you think about what recruiters do, right, this is literally exactly what we do, but we're manually doing it all, yeah? But now we're in a position where the agents can do it. It just shows everything. And then all we have to do is what we should be doing, which is more on the execution or more on the reviewing side. So let's say that Anthony and Steve are good. This person here, let's send them a message. Oops, sorry, bear with me. I could email him. I can in-mail him. I can send a connection request because I'm not connected. If I was connected to him, then that would be highlighted. That would be highlighted. And if I had his mobile, I can WhatsApp him. I then create a little bit of context. And this is trained in the individual's tone to make it highly bespoke and readable. So just for argument's sake, I don't know, let's just say, give him a soft intro to these candidates. You wouldn't write this, but you know what I'm saying. The AI, because one thing that a lot of people really don't understand when it comes to AI, the most important thing is context. If it has context, it does a really good job. If it doesn't have context, well, that's when most of the posts on LinkedIn, for example, or your emails that get sent out, they don't have any context on the person or anything else. Okay, so we feed it with the job, we feed it with the whole profile of the candidates, non-sensitive information. We hit send, and what happens then, because I very strongly believe in human in the loop, nothing goes out the door unless you approve it. It gets sent here. You see it. You can add files or whatever it is you want to do. And if I hit approve, it will send a message to whoever this person is. Me, this says. Okay.
Very good. All right. I think we get the picture. It looks very, very impressive, Nick. Thank you so much for putting all of that together. Now, as I understand it, your job is now actually putting together these workflows for recruitment agencies. Is that correct? So essentially,
Yes.
A recruitment agency, they're looking at sort of all these tools. They need to get more efficient. They want to reactivate candidates. They want to, they've got a brilliant candidate. They want to reverse market that candidate into a bunch of companies. But how much time is it taking to research those companies? Forever. Basically leveraging AI to do all of this stuff. So very, very interesting. Quick one, Nick, before we move on. In terms of time, like what are we talking about from your commitment? So I'm assuming someone who buys this, they're just going to buy it kind of off the shelf. So you're delivering some sort of no, what's happening?
It's all custom. It's
Right.
not off the shelf at all. This isn't a product that I lease out or anything like that. I believe in the ownership model. So
cool.
They own all of this. They own the code. They own everything.
Right. So they're going to interact with you to do that. It's kind of a custom build. And once they have it, they can roll forward with it.
Yep.
Very good, man. Well, listen, Nick, very, very interesting. I do think that we're in a world where you can stop the screen share now. Yeah, thanks. We're in a world where essentially it's fascinating to see what is in effect still a one-person business, right? You're still rolling this by yourself, able to deliver this degree of sophistication to recruitment agency owners. That would not have been possible, I would say, 3 years ago. Definitely not 3 years ago. And it's amazing to see how this is emerging. By the way, folks, this is an opportunity for technically minded people to get involved in this space. But Nick, listen, thank you so much for the demo, man. Really appreciate it. Hang on in the chat. There's going to be questions coming at you, I'm sure. But we're going to roll along because we've got loads of people to bring on. So thank you so much for the illustration on what you're doing. Brilliant to see this type of business emerging. Alla Pavlova, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think two important things also were mentioned in the chat as well. Like, how long does it take to train the agent? Because in some tools, like you just give a few examples. In some, you actually have to spend like 1 month to really, maybe even longer. So all these demos, the tools are given for 1 week. In my personal opinion, is usually not enough to really have the feeling. How long does it take to train really somebody, like as a person? What is the onboarding for a new person in the company? It's usually at least 2 months, and some companies even longer. So that's one point. And the context, I mentioned also in the chat that context is important, but I don't know what everybody's using right now, but I use only speech to text context. So I'm talking. So my longest one is 35 minutes. Yeah, I know there's better things to do in life, but I recorded 35 minutes context on the process change that I need to make. And then I gave a minimum 5 examples. And that's how I had a huge difference. So for the context.
Right. That's a really important point. And I mentioned about the off the shelf, which Nick kind of disabused me of quite correctly. We do want the off the shelf, we want the silver bullet, but actually to get the true value, you actually need to invest the time. Adam Gordon, my good friend, and former co-pilot, he will be back. But basically, he did say, actually, AI is quite high maintenance. You got it. It's like an employee. It's not just right there. Okay, let's keep going. Tony DeGraaf. Tony is also I think a new parent, so I'm not even sure whether he's going to be available for this, but I can see him here. So I'm going to try and bring him on. Maybe he's got something to say to us as well. Tony, if it's not convenient, don't bother accepting the invite. That's all good. But I'll rope you in on this straight away. Folks, what do you think of all of this? I mean, do you think these types of automations are going to help you in the flow? As a great example on third-party recruiter there. Of course, there's optimizations for any kind of recruiting, to be honest, any kind of digital work, really. Imagine all of the research that you do to, find a customer or find a candidate, all of that stuff,
Personalization, all those things, yeah.
Yeah, the tool is going to do it better for you. There he is, Tony de Graaf. Tony, great to see you, mate. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. As you said, yes, a new father. Daughter is now 11 days old, so very tired, but very happy.
My goodness me. Congratulations to Tony. He says he's very tired, but he always looks like immaculate, doesn't he?
It's the hair, man.
There's excess use of argan oil or something, mate,
Yeah.
All right. So Tony, for the people who don't know you, why don't you quickly introduce yourself? Who are you? What it is you do, mate?
Yeah, I'm Tony de Graaf, owner and founder of the Recruiting Excellence Foundation, and we work with TA teams around the world to help them improve their capabilities to consistently deliver the right talent exactly in time in a cost-effective manner. And that can be AI and automation related. Sometimes it's also not. Obviously, the share of that we actually do projects that are heavily involved with AI grow and are obviously the majority, but it's not the only thing we do. Also classic process optimizations, change projects, build a culture, train people, all those type of good stuff.
Yeah, fantastic. And Tony's got an amazing sort of background, head of TA, also worked at partnerships with various tech companies as well. And now kind of, again, one person company, like doing his own thing. So amazing to see that. Tony.
We're already 3.
Are you already
growing
3?
like crazy?
Pardon.
Yeah.
Are these your kids? Is this?
Yeah, exactly. They're part of the ownership now.
Putting the family to work. No, so Tony, we're going to do like some illustrations, some demo of optimizing a workflow with AI. I mean, have you got anything you want to talk about?
Yeah, I thought about which I wanted to actually show, and Ella actually already hit the nail on the head. There is a level of AI for everyone, right? So I think that's a very good angle. So the example that I actually took to give people a different way of thinking about it, not, okay, what can I do with AI and use AI in the process, but how can I use AI to optimize my process? So the actual solution itself is not AI driven, but you use AI to actually optimize it. So I have an example of where we completely automated how we actually do an assessment with recruiting teams all around the world. And the solution is fully built with AI. And I build it. And the people who know me know that I definitely cannot write a single line of code, but I built the entire platform in about 40 hours, a week of work, and it looks amazing. So, and we have, and I have some examples that I think people can realize, like, hey, this is also something I could potentially do. That's not sexy AI of high risk. So hopefully that helps the audience.
Yeah, definitely. Why don't we share a screen here,
Sounds
Tony?
good.
Yeah, let's have a look. Basically, there's a bottom of the screen here. There should be a sort of an upward share screen cursor. So blast that and see what happens.
To share window. Can I select the window? Hopefully. Yeah, there we go. It's loading.
All right.
Drum ruffle. You can all see it. Does it work?
Yeah.
We can see.
Awesome. So what we've done first, back in the day, we did an assessment manually. So we talked to people, we talked to recruiters, we gathered the information, build a report, and all that good stuff. We fully automated it, and I built it with VS Code, free coding software, plus GPT Codex. Codex is the AI I use to actually build out the platform. And I do the same. I use this microphone, if you can see it on the camera, and I talk to it. And it translates it to text, and everything gets built. So what you see here is, again, I'm still impressed with it. Like, if you see how sexy and smooth everything moves, again, I built this. I am not a technical guy. You can do this. And this allows us, instead of hours and weeks of analysis, we can have people take an assessment of 15 minutes. They give us all the information, and this is all built out automatically. And for the company, we can say, compare Germany to the Netherlands, or compare EMEA to APAC, or compare, in this case, the retail part of our organization against the global average of hundreds of results that are in here. And within seconds, they can actually see where are we performing above global average, where are we behind, where do we have pain points, etc. And we actually help them build an improvement plan on this, right? But the thing that I wanted to show behind this, I'm going to show you the sandbox, not the real production environment, because then you actually see stuff that is PI sensitive. So this is the back end. But here, because it's now the sandbox, I can't show you the other tools that we've built. We've built an assessment platform. So for other customers, what we've built in here, this is just one tool. The thing that I just showed you, this report, is just one tool. But we built in here candidate experience surveys. We built quality of hire surveys. We built a job intake UI, so a job intake form where hiring managers just answer questions and it produces a scorecard and a job description based on the company requirements, all within the UI here. And all those examples, except for the job intake one, don't use AI in itself, right? We even created one. There is like a selection thing that you can go through and it creates the actual contracts, because for a lot of companies that have a lot of different contracts, different languages, different modules, different bonuses, different addendums, like it becomes a hassle and can sometimes even live in a million types of Word documents and requires still manual work. We created the step UI here that automatically formats the how do you say that, the process of actually creating a contract. So creating a survey, even if we create one for candidates to do knockout questions. So you apply, you move to the review stage, you automatically receive an email, you go through a few questions, like that could look like this, for example. You just answer the questions and those answers are being sent back to the ATS. We've built this without coding experience. It is very lightweight. You can have all your own colors and all these type of things to actually optimize and speed up processes and standardize them, right? So these are all examples where AI is not actually used in the solution, but it's made possible by AI, right? The job intake one, I have one without a UI. Maybe I zoom in here a little bit. This is a custom GPT being set up in a couple minutes. So this is a company where they have job intake forms. They have 12 different brands, operate in 14 different countries. So it was a mess for the recruiting department to make sure that the job ads are the same. So company descriptions were never the same. Additional information was never the same. The structure was never the same. There were typos in it. It was a mess to actually manage it. With this custom GPT, now it is one person globally for all the brands that controls this. And what they now do, if you say, for example, hey, I want to create a scorecard and some sample questions. Hope this actually works if I'm sharing my screen real quick, because this is a live example. Go Bosch group. I need to give the brand because it asks what is the brand for this intake. I have an example job intake meeting. And based on the settings behind it, there is an entire competency matrix. It looks at what is the job, what is the department, what are the requirements, etc. And it defines the selection criteria for this role, plus even example questions that the interviewers need to ask around these topics. So it's awesome that we can say, hey, we measure, I don't know, problem solving. That's a competency we need for the role. But how do you actually measure problem solving? How do you get your hiring managers in interviews to ask the right question that we actually measure that? So this generates these questions automatically. And on top of that, here, create the job ad. So this was a big thing for them. So the job ad is now always the same. So because we give the brand, so how the company is described is always the same. It's controlled by that one person. And also the additional information is always the same. And because they recruit in multiple languages, it becomes very easy for them if we say, here, this job is good. Give me the Arabic version. Right? So if they now do the job intake meetings and they have the form, it is seconds work to create the scorecard, create the actual questions, sample questions, the job ads that are all structured in any language that they need. And it's all the same. right? And this is something to set up. The setup costs like just a couple minutes. The most work sit in because behind this, there is like, for example, just for the company description, there are 14 brands. So you have 14 brands with all their own company descriptions. You need to create that PDF and upload, obviously, to the custom GPT, right? So this is a very bare bones version we built for a company that didn't want a specific UI or new tool, but did want to use AI to actually make sure that this is all the same. So from this moment forward, if you have a company GPT, everything is the same and standardized. It's a very lightweight solution. And you can even do this if you don't have a company OpenAI contract. If anyone in your team has the 20 euros a month plus account, that is required to create and manage the custom GPT. But the great thing is, the moment you actually share the link for this custom GPT, you can use this as a free user. So anyone in the entire organization that doesn't have a paid account for ChatGPT, any hiring manager can still use this. They just need to click the link. They end up in this conversation. It follows your instructions. It follows your setup and everything, and they can just upload the job intake form. They have the right scorecards, the right questions, and the right job ads exactly in the structure that you want, without that you need to actually tell people what to do, chase their asses, or correct them. So this is a very lightweight version.
Very, very good, Tony. Let me ask a question. You're sort of built this for a company that already has technology in there. What was the reason they gave you that their existing vendors weren't able to provide the solutions? Like, they obviously have an ATS, they obviously have all these tools. Like, how come it's not emerging from these so-called professional enterprise level tooling, and it takes, no disrespect, some very new business like you to come in and do all this?
Yeah, it's crazy, right? The two things that have surprised me most in our industry, that there is barely any ATS on the planet that does almost the two most important things in our job. That is, one, the job intake meeting, in system translating that into proper scorecards and interview structures and whatnot. And the second one, which ATS properly supports the hiring decision meeting? Almost none. It's ridiculous. We did a global survey. We got hundreds of results. The poorest scoring area globally for any TA team across industry sizes and everything, support of the hiring decision. It's crazy enough that the ATSs and the technologies usually focus on just managing the process, getting the pipelines done and all that other stuff, but actually making sure we do proper job intake meetings and capture what is important for somebody to be successful in the role, and actually helping recruiters and hiring managers run that decision meeting. The technology is almost not there. Why? I don't know. We're building it, but it's not there.
Speculation as to why. I think basically I wonder whether there's going to be gaps within a technology stack, essentially. I wouldn't say they're micro problems. They're just like hidden problems, because you can manually like brute force your way past it, which is what we've been doing in the past. And there's never been, if you like, a commercial reason to do it, because it was too expensive to build a software company before in the past, et cetera, et cetera. But now with AI, you've got a new type of company, one that you're producing, similar to what Nick is doing now as well, where essentially it's kind of like a very small micro company, low in terms of headcount, but able to produce these solutions that seem to have this huge impact. By the way, Tony, the intake sort of a thing where, this is how you do the audit and the analysis. I think that's brilliant. I need to use something like this to get guests on Brainfood Live. Imagine if I could survey the Brainfood community, get them to fill in, interact with an AI or something. And then we could figure out, okay, here are the topic areas that people care about here. I can send a message if I'm doing a D&I sort of show or something. It messages all the people that care about D&I. Are they interested in coming onto the show? Boom. There we go. Solves one of my biggest problems. There we go.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Yeah.
Tony, brilliant stuff, mate.
I put in the link. I put a link in the chat for people who actually want to see how that platform actually works and create your own report. So you can play around with it a little bit, specifically for the guests here if they want to.
Yeah, really appreciate it. Tony DeGraff, amazing stuff. We're going to have to rush people on and off as I've noticed the time, but brilliant to see you, man. And congratulations on the family again. And yeah, just great on the business and seeing everything going sort of in the right direction for you. So all power to you going forward, brother.
Thank you.
It's crazy town. This is crazy tune, isn't it? This is great.
I mean, it's interesting. I mean, when somebody says that they use VS Code and Codex, etc., so and it's very encouraging. And I do think that Tony is bringing a little bit like you can do it vibe, and sharing the links that's you can test it. I think it's like super helpful. But yeah, let's see.
But one thing that I think we haven't talked about, though, I'm sure Tony went through the pain period. Like using it now may be fluent, but I'm sure there was like, oh my goodness, I can't do it sort of phase.
Wow.
And most of us bail out at that point. I remember in the early days of Twitter, way back when, I actually forced myself to do it because I just couldn't get it. Like, what the heck is this? This is in 2010 or something. And I thought, I just got to tweet. I got to do stuff, whatever. And it was a very painful experience. I wasn't used to it. Psychologically, wasn't set up for it. But I had to blast through, and of course, you become super fluent with things once you do it. AI, I think now I understand my own AI adoption journey is this: I'm bouncing off whenever I see something. Oh no, it's a bit too much work. I'm out.
Yeah, but you did create the biggest in the industry newsletter, so without AI.
Which is actually not true. ChatGPT hallucinates. That's true, but it's definitely not. But I'll take it. There he is, Marcel van der Meer, the one and only. Marcel, I love the way you position your camera. It makes you look actually like a normal-sized human being. Everyone knows that you're very tall. But Marcel, great to see you, man. We haven't even caught up since South Africa, so we have to talk safari. We'll have to get that sort of on the go. But for the folks who are listening who don't know you, I'm surprised if they don't. But who, if they don't, quickly introduce yourself. Who are you? What it is you do, man?
My brand is my beard, not my red hair, but it's my beard. So my name is Marcel van der Meer. I retrain, reskill recruiters how to optimize AI, and I train them how to be AI recruitment engineers, as I call them. AI recruitment engineers, TA ops, rec ops, anything you want. Just give it a name, but I teach them how to automate a lot of stuff.
Yeah, fantastic stuff. And Marcel probably aligns very well with what sort of Ala mentioned earlier about how sort of people from the sourcing community were very quick to adopt and maybe have the natural aptitude or attitude for accelerated AI adoption because of the technical mindset, the inquisitive mindset, the preparedness to test and break things, the lack of fear with the tech. It's great to see sort of a load of people transition that way. So great stuff, Marcel. Okay, Marcel, I wonder whether, we talked about if there's a recruiter workflow that could be optimized with AI, and if you could show us what that would be. What's the topic that you've selected for us?
I could select any topic, but I selected something really close to my heart, which is sourcing. I love how to automate your sourcing pipeline. So I vibe coded a sourcing tool for you. Brainfood Live sourcing tool, it's called. It's built in 2 hours. It's really built in 2 hours. I built it with anti-gravity and Cloud Code. Both of them can work great together.
Really awesome. Dumb it down for me, Marcel. What is anti-gravity?
Anti-gravity is basically the coding tool of Google, and you can ask Cloud Code to join anti-gravity to work for you. So I make the backend with Cloud Code and the front end with anti-gravity, and looks amazing.
Yeah, cool, good stuff. And it's a sourcing tool. You vibe coded it. Tell us what vibe coding means, Marcel. I mean,
vibe coding is basically talking into your microphone and it's saying what you want. And of course, there's a lot of things you must learn, but just start with vibe coding. I would suggest people, if they want to start with vibe coding, use aistudio.google.com. You can really easily vibe code your own AI tools within it. So that's really easy to do.
So that's a good starting point for the complete newbies
Absolutely.
out there. AI Studio, brilliant. Thank you for sharing that, Ala. I mean, this is gold, isn't it, folks? Get on it is general message, because I think the reason again why I wanted to do this show is because I think that TA, HR, it would just be of benefit to the entire community if we could just raise up our kind of AI literacy just one notch. And to increase our confidence just one notch. I think we'll just move a lot further forward, be a lot more comfortable with the future if we're able to do that. Brilliant share on that, Marcel and Ala. Okay, Marcel, let's have a look, man.
Let's see if I can share my screen. Yes. Here it is.
Yeah.
This looks the backend. And then there's a lot of stuff. I don't want to bother with you with you, but I basically built the brain food sorting tool. Just what you can do, paste in your vacancy. It will grab the requirements of the vacancy. You can also adjust a little bit the requirements, so the hard skills. Then a search with AI search, basically searches on LinkedIn. And then you can get the candidates will be ranked based on the order. And you can also look into the candidates, and based on that, you can also make an email or an connection request and hyper-personalize the connection request or the email, and then send them out. I won't send them out, by the way, because I won't. I'm out of connections, by the way, so that's also very dumb of me. So I found a job here, casualty job. I don't know what it is. Casualty broking director. Just copying and pasting that into my vacancy. And hopefully it will work. Reading the vacancy. And here it is. So it finds the skills it needs. You can add some skills. You can delete some skills. Let's say what communication was out of it. You can also have the level. It finds the company. So it will also... if it finds candidates with the company which works for the company, it will also filter that out. So that's also good. Then it finds the candidates. It's made in 2 hours, 2 hours. So always trying to wait a little bit. And the real value and the real IP, what's in behind it, is because I know a lot of APIs which can do this, and this is also what I'm trying to teach people how to use other APIs to search with AI, for example. So let's see, Sophie, head of international custody. So it finds a match. It gives a little bit detail. You can open the profile, but let's say want to send her an email, and this guy a connection request. This guy also an email, and then draft messages. And here it is. So here is the email. Highly personalized. And you can also, before you want to send it out, you can also adjust it. So, and then just send the outreach, and it will send automatically with another API, but I won't set it because I won't do this.
Very good, Marcel. I mean, we're looking here at a sourcing tool that basically would have been, I mean, it still looks magical, to be honest. But this would have been like completely jaw-dropping 24 months or so ago. You know, to be able to paste in a job, a vacancy, and then immediately generate candidates, you know, within what seemed like 10 seconds. And then be able to put together an outreach sort of campaign and so on. That would not be possible in a very short time frame. But you're saying now in 2026, a person who's a non-coder can literally speak into a computer and produce this as an output in 2 hours. That's crazy. That is
you have to know, of course, what for APIs you want to use, etc., etc. You have to know what you're doing and how to build it. But that's what I teach people, how to use AI properly. So
give us an idea. I mean, we're going to share links to everyone's LinkedIn, of course. And folks, if you're watching this and you're thinking, you know what, I'm all in, I want to speak to these people on panel. All of them, I'm sure, are happy to introduce you to their training courses and workshops and so on. And so that information will be there. There we go. I don't know what this is, but it says brain food, so it must be good.
Send a DM or via email to my LinkedIn thing with only the word brain food in it, so you get all the details and also the workflow for free.
There we go. Bang it all in there, folks. What are you waiting for? And Marcel, if people, because you do workshops and training, right? So you get people onto this stage. If I, let's use me as an example. If I come on and sign up to the course, like what sort of investment do I need in terms of time before I get to the point where I can produce software like this?
You need at least so that we have a pre-course foundation course which is online. So there's prerequisite to follow the bootcamp. So that takes about 8 to 10 hours. Maybe you will do a little bit faster, a little bit slower. I don't know what kind of level you have hung. But let's say 8 hours, and then 2 days on site, and then you can build stuff like this. So
yeah. So we're looking at basically an accelerated bootcamp, right?
Correct.
It's not like here's a 12-week course or whatever like this. Like very rapidly we can get to town on this. And by the way, folks, there's like loads of companies pushing this forward. All of the AI companies seem to be very keen on a sort of AI acceleration, aren't they? So make yourself just immerse, I think, into this world and get to the point where you can make this work for you. By the way, there's going to be a moment where there's a load of recruiters that know how to do this compared to significantly more recruiters that don't know how to do this. And that moment is where your economic opportunity is. But that gap's going to close. That won't last forever. It seems to me is like being able to understand how to search the internet before everyone else knows how to search the internet. You are going to use about 12 months, 18 months. I don't know how long it's going to take for everyone to get to the level everyone can search the internet, but it'll be sooner than you think. So your window of opportunity is narrow. You got to get it now. Okay. Marcel, brilliant stuff. Thank you so much for your work there, and also for of course, doing the stuff with brain food as well. That's brilliant. Much appreciated. Okay, I've shared Marcel's LinkedIn. I do believe if I haven't done that, I'll do that now. But we're going to rattle on through because we are well beyond time. But stay with us, folks, because we've got other people to bring on screen. If they're still around, I'm not sure if they are because people might be dropping off. But let's see whether we can bring them on. I do see Leandro there. I think Leandro can come on. Joey, if you're still here, hang on in there. We'll bring you on in a second. Let me just see who's there. People might be dropping off. I don't blame them.
People still stay. There's a lot of questions. I mean, at least the chat is like really, really booming.
Well, you and I are going to have to try and deal with the questions, Ala, because I don't think we can keep the guys on any longer. And they
we'll deal with it.
We'll try and deal with it. Right, I can't even find the relevant people here.
Look at the chat. So I think Joel has a little bit different nick here. So NK.
You know what? I can't invite anybody via the chat. It's a real annoyance. So I've got to go into the people function and then like search for them.
Search by surname, Oxal.
Because
I see him and I see Leandro. They're really eager to jump in.
All right, I can see Joey. Here we go. Sorry, Leandro, I was going to bring you on before Joey, but Joey, we're going to do a swap simply because I can't search the system. This is where I should have vibe coded the selection. Bring on Leandro. I should have just shouted at it, and it should have worked. Instead, I'm doing like a manual infinite scroll on this thing. I gotta go and find a person. Anyway, here he is. I think here he is. Oh,
Yeah, almost there. Almost there.
in and out, but that's all good. I'm sure. Actually, I probably got to re-invite. Yeah, I think I do.
Leandra?
Because no, I think Joey, I'll bring him back on.
Mm-hmm.
Let's try that. And then that should be good.
When we talk about advanced stuff, but then we're struggling with the basic.
Yeah. Hey, there's Joey. Joey, great to see you, man. Thanks for coming on.
Pleasure is mine. Good to be here, guys. It's been
Great.
Awesome session.
Fantastic. By the way, I love your light setup. You look as if you're from the 1980s, Miami Vice. For some reason, you look like one of those dudes coming out
Witness
of Miami
protection?
Vice. Yeah, absolutely.
Indeed. I don't want everybody to see me in a normal.
I think that's totally correct, man. Let's keep things as surreptitious as we can. Joey, quickly introduce yourself. Who are you? What it is you do?
Yeah, I'm Joey Kuxel. I'm a sourcer. I'm a technical recruiter. I'm a HR business partner. I'm a people's manager. So based in Netherlands, work with a lot of you in the tech, TA, and HR industry.
Fantastic stuff. And by the way, you might have noticed a very Dutch theme in all of this stuff. And this is not by design, by the way. It was simply me trying to pick out, okay, who's actually really good at this? Turns out almost everyone is Dutch. And I don't know why that
was booming in the Netherlands. So there are two places, US and the Netherlands. So if you see the most influential sourcers, they're based in these two countries. I'm sorry if I offended anyone.
I'm inclined to agree. I think the Czechs are very strong as well, technically. But the Dutch are definitely ahead of what I've seen of other countries in Europe. I don't know why. And it's not genetics, because there's a lot of people from different parts of the world that live in the Netherlands. But there's something about the recruiting culture there that seems to promote this. Anyway, Joey, why don't you quickly explain for us some of the optimization work that you've been doing, and what's the example you want to show us?
Yeah, sure. I've been working in almost a year and a half now, maybe a little bit longer than that. I start with scripting apps on my desktop. So that is related to searching people, creating some market reports. Then I was frustrating, and I am the first student of Marcel van der Meer for the AI training. So I got my certificate. So we'll see what I done after I trained for him. So, and then I jumped into an A10. It's a lot of automation I like to use for a HR perspective, because I don't want to just create a sourcing. It will help me creating some boats internally, creating benchmarks, HR business partner related roles, sickness cases, anything related HR. So automate that. So what I did create today is, with all due respect to Marcel, I create something like Marcel did it, but I'm going to show you a totally different part of it, which is what we almost have pain all the time before the intake meetings. We don't have any data regarding to any of the roles. So I created a telemarket report, which I'm happy to show it to you if that's okay.
Talent market report. I love it. This again is about the democratization of talent intelligence. I mean, this is locked away not so long ago, folks. It was like locked away. Very few vendors were able to provide the intelligence. Oftentimes you have to go pay significant amounts to even access their stuff. Now it looks like, you know what, we've got a way to do it. Okay, Joey, the screen share looks working. So
great. Well, first I start with, as I said, doing it in a normal NA10 details. For example, I create intelligence.
Hang on, stop press. What is N8N? Sorry, if I'm not sure if I said that right. What is that? What is this?
A10 is the literally one of my favorite automation platform, which you can create a lot of different apps, which is kind of like we call in software engineering microservices. You can bring all those different apps to put it together to be able to create some results. Basically, right. Microservices automation platform.
So the consumer version of N8A would be Zapier, let's say. And then obviously developers, software engineers will have something else, microservices. But in the middle, like something that's quite technical, but not quite, you know, baby stuff is N8A.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, it's just so easy to use. You don't need to understand code, but of course you need to train a little bit, which is thanks to Marcel who trained me. on that one, and then I took it from there. So let's go back to workflow automation. I create a lot of them. You can create two ways. You can create chat interface, which is you can do it yourself internally, your own host, and you can walk them in your internal one. It will come up like that. You can ask some questions. I don't want to show it to you because I'm using API a little bit low key, and then I'm going to show you a lot more detailed one. Or you can do it basically on setting up an email, which you can create anything you like without the bot. You can create it with a nice form. Sorry, I apologize. Creating a form, execute a form. So that will come up. Again, you can save this one on your bookmark. Every time you want to create any talent intelligence, you ask questions. You can walk the details here, which email you want to send it to your hiring manager, your colleagues, generate the report, it will send it to you. But what I want to show you, what I created with not like coding, I coded with the script, which is front end is React, back end Node.js. So I created on my desktop, which is on the local host. It's called PeopleWorks, which I like to call that one. Local host, it just gives you the details on this one, such as like dashboard in the HTML. And then if you want to source anything, you can literally, like Marcel showed earlier, same one, you can do Java developer, for example, location Berlin, and then put over here Kafka, and then whatever you want to fill in. And then it will literally create what type of Boolean strings you want it to. And then it goes on the SERP APIs, just jump into the system and search people. That is one part of it. And the other part of it, I want to show it to you while it's searching, which is the market report is very, very important for me. Again, Java developers, I'm looking for, again, Berlin area. And I put Kafka again, very basic one, and then generate the market report. It takes a little bit while. Normally I use Claude API, but I'm right now with the credits. I'm using this one as OpenAI. But again, the platform I created, you can create all those APIs indifferently. It will adjust on searching, so you can choose it. Let's have a look at it. Market intelligence. Oh, damn it, I forgot it. I apologize, guys. Let me just do it again. Berlin, Kafka, and let's create the market report. Let's have a look at the intelligence report probably. So it's automatically find all those people on LinkedIn and a topic that gives a score and all the details. Then you can really take it to the next level, connect with them, create some connection draft letters and take it from there. And the code I created, it should choose it 99% that matches exactly what I'm looking for. As you can see from the details, it's pretty much the right people in Berlin area, basically. And then talent intelligence report, it will show you if that finished. Berlin, it just finished. It indicates a lot of things. It's just an overview of the market in Berlin area, the market difficulty, estimated pool, how many days to fill, passive active candidates, competition, that shows that, and you can go to difficulties here, the salaries here, which is benchmark up to 93% accuracy, different job titles, heat map, competitors, risk, sourcing, even I put intake question for your hiring managers. Pretty much that's it. Try to run it as possible.
Where are you sourcing? Where is this sourcing the data from? You mentioned APIs. It's pulling from somewhere, Joey. Where is it coming from?
Before you reply, a lot of companies are actually not disclosing this information. So just to let you know. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. There's different API searches and bring it from LinkedIn Insights. That could be any public data, or I use some SERP APIs to go to benchmarking with the local benchmarking companies' data, latest data, grabs it, and also I upload my own data wherever I get the details from. So I put them together, and that helps me to bring the basically bring the best outcome of the, for example, benchmarking or the difficulties in or the competitors, but also the public data helps me out as well.
Yeah, really interesting and super, super useful, folks. I mean, I hope you can see how valuable this may be. Again, none of the people on screen here are software engineering by training. Even the trainers are not software engineering by training. We're all recruiters, folks. We're all recruiters that actually got into the sourcing space and just got into basically how systems work. So, brilliant demo, Joey. Really appreciate you coming on the call. And yeah, do we want to do a show on APIs, folks? Let me know in the comments, because I think, suddenly here's a term I've heard of, but how do I actually interact with it? Don't know. Maybe we'll get Joey back to help us with that. Let me know in the comments whether that'd be useful for you. Okay, Joey, we're gonna have to move swiftly on because time is pressing. I've got to get Leandro on. And let people get on with their weekends, to be honest with you. Right, let's get on with this. Leandro, there he is.
When it comes to saying where you take the data, this is one of the questions that I see a lot of companies and tools, they really hide it, or they try to say, hey, we are compliant, etc. And something that I also think that's where the risk comes in, because if you have a scraping tool, you might need to comply, and in some countries, it can be quite a dangerous business. So that's why, I always, when I'm curious where the data coming from, especially if it's like LinkedIn profiles or something else, but I do see a lot of resistance to get the answers right away.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to talk about this once we've chat with Leandro, because I think there basically is an application into the right compliance framework, and that's going to exist within smaller businesses. Basically, the bigger the size you go as an organization, the more difficult it is to hack around in these things. But anyway, we have Leandro here. Great to see you, Leandro. It seems that we're seeing a lot of each other these days, which I consider a boon. Leandro, why don't you quickly introduce yourself? Who are you? What it is you do, man?
Thanks, man. Good to see you again. It's been 2 weeks, I think, since we last saw each other. For the folks that don't know me, my name is Leandro Gomez da Silva. I am head of AI operations at a Dutch recruitment agency called Noble Recruitment, where we basically try to get all of the sales talent in the right place. I do that 4 days a week. 1 day a week, I work for myself for my own little, let's say, consultancy firm called the AI Laundry. And I have a background in recruitment. The last 10 years, I've been geeking out on everything recruitment, listening to Brain Food ever since I can remember, and trying to learn all of these sourcing tricks also from Ala over the years. Naturally, I've transitioned into my current role. So at my former employer, Loop Earplugs, I was there during the ChatGPT introduction, right? When LLMs suddenly became something that we could touch and interact with. And on day 29 that ChatGPT was released, I created my accounts. And I think I'm spending on average about 12 hours a day working with AI ever since. So my role naturally basically changed from being a full hands-on recruiter to 50-50 to now moving on to head of AI operations.
Yeah, amazing. And congratulations on this recruitment agency that has actually carried headcount, created the job in order to optimize their processes. I think this is the way forward, folks. I think basically recruitment agencies either need to get consultancy, third-party support, or they need to hire someone to do it. Don't think that you're targeted recruiters that have sales targets that they reach. They're not going to get there. They're going to be too busy. You need to have optimizers. You need to have sales enablement, basically. And this is people like Leandro. Okay, Leandro, let's have a look at. The task was okay. What's one sort of recruiter workflow that can be optimized? What's the one that you've selected, and why have you selected it first?
Check. So for Noble, I've built platforms like we've seen throughout the show. But I thought, you know what? That's something that most people that are watching this or listening back to this are not going to build tomorrow, right? So I wanted to keep it simple and hopefully inspire you to get something done on Monday. So let me share my screen here. Where can I find the share screen? It's right here. Yeah. Oh, there's share event. Where is the share screen?
It's at the bottom. You see at the bottom of the screen, there should be a cursor.
Bottom right.
Present video, I guess, right? Or no? Oh.
Should we share screen? I think it is. I think present video in case you uploaded a video.
Present, yes.
See present, slide screen. Here you go. So it seems I need weekends. Good. Can you all see me?
Yep, looks good.
So basically, what I have created, one of the things that one of my clients actually was running into was they are a scale up, hiring, they were about 60, 70 people. They wanted to basically double headcount within a year's time, but they didn't know how to measure that. They didn't know, are we hiring the right people? So one of the things that we figured out was, let's make that measurable. So I think, at least for me, what I found throughout my career as a recruiter was people interview, hiring manager interview, you hope for the best, but you have little to no control. So I created a custom GPT, especially for them. So they have a ChatGPT Enterprise account. And I tweaked this to show it to you guys to remove any PI information, let's say. So just for the demo's purpose, I took a random job ad, fed it into this GPT. It asked me, how do I want my score to English or German? Now you're thinking, hey, wait a minute, didn't we see this earlier on the show with Tony? Yes, something similar, but I have a different approach to Tony. So Tony, I would love to swap notes with you. The idea behind this, and I'll show you a flowchart in a second, is that, or I can show that here, this is how it works. Does this look complicated? I'm not hearing anything. Is there any feedback?
All good. We can see your screen.
You can see it's cool. So it looks very complicated. It's actually not. So this is what you're putting into your custom GPT, right? It can be a job description. Even better would be the kickoff transcript that we have. This is what happens within the GPT. So you have a system prompt, which is just a very long prompt that tells GPT what to do, how to process that information, where it can get additional information and context to understand how it needs to look at the data that you've inputted and what it needs to output. So what I uploaded for the knowledge files is a question bank that the client had, because there were certain questions that always needed to be included, also to inspire the AI to create similar questions, or at least something that doesn't feel completely different to them. I added all of their values and all of the description of the values. So you don't only have values, description, but also how does that look like per role? How can we measure that? And how does a scorecard look like? So the output basically then is, hey, for a head of people at Stacks, there goes my phone, head of people at Stacks, here's the interview scorecard. Every interview does, sorry, let me go back one. So every interview process is checking if all of the information that you gave it, so in this case, all of the must-haves and nice-to-haves, are covered both from the hard skills perspective, but also on the cultural side. So what you'll see is this is the first interviewer. This is some instructions for the interviewers to give them some tips, and then role specific, the competency that we're gonna measure, building a people function from scratch through hypergrowth. What is the cultural value attached to their experience that we're going to measure? And then it gives you a start methodology question that you can use to start that off. And then it's up to the hiring manager or the interviewer to then follow up with the right questions, right? It also gives the interviewer some tips on, hey, what are you listening for? How does good look like? And then they can leave their notes. So imagine you're starting off a new process, you input this into your ATS. Each interviewer already within the ATS has their own custom scorecard. They know exactly what to do, but still with some room to have their own input on the interview. And this goes on and on and on. So here we go for performance management, compensation philosophy, leveling, and all of the values as well. Here it's about team spirit, openness. This is fun, for example. So what makes work fun for you? Can you give me a specific example of a time when you were genuinely enjoying your work? What was the situation? What made it enjoyable? Hey, what are we listening for? That's here. So all of that at a certain point will add up. And at the end, you'll have the value summary filled in. And this is a very long one because it's full interview stage. So, role-specific questions during interview 1 is 4. Culture specific is 1, and then that turns around depending on the client needs, obviously. But this is a way to understand, like, hey, if I have a job description, I can confidently say I collected all of the data to be sure that we're going to make the right decision when we decide to make an offer.
I love this because it's stuff like this that tells us just how much data we actually collect as in the process of recruitment. But we typically haven't archived it or utilized it in any efficient way. It's almost like having a factory that is basically got something like 2% efficiency. And because the lights are still on, because the factory is moving, we think that's okay. But in fact, we could maximally increase the value we get because of the data richness involved in the activity of recruiting.
Yes.
That's brilliant stuff, Leandro.
Yes, and if I can just give one more tip to the guys. So yesterday I was doing a event on vibe coding. What I would 100% recommend, Google Stitch came out last week with a new version that's actually good. So I was doing an event for a company called We Are King. I just gave these screenshots and their URL as a input for the design of the platform that I wanted the platform to do several things. I iterated here through the design, won't go too deep into it, imported all of that into Lovable, and basically created a working platform in about an hour that looks like this. So if people were wondering, how can I create those amazing platforms without doing very complicated code? This is one of the ways. And if you want to know more about it, you can always reach out.
Yeah, that's brilliant stuff, Leandro. Thank you so much for sharing the example there in such rapid fire way. We needed the speed at the end of the show, so I really appreciate you being sensitive to that. Brilliant stuff. Leandro, I'm going to let you go because time is pressing, but thank you so much for joining us. Folks, I'm not going to let you hang around too much long either because I know everyone's got to go, but was that not a great show? Let me know what your thoughts are. We have wonderful guests coming on to show us what they've done. These are all recruiters coming from community that have since gone on and progressed their careers in a different direction, really taking advantage of the opportunity that this technological moment has given us. I'm going to share all of their links, obviously, with everyone here. So if you want to follow any of those people and get more educated, maybe find out what type of training they do, etc., make yourself you'll have all of that sort of information available. Make sure you follow up on it. Okay, Alla Pavlova. All of this is amazing. It's all great. We're going to use it. I think everyone's going to end up seeing lots of these micro apps around the core apps. But it's not going to replace SaaS, though, is it? I mean, you know, we're still going to need ATSs, aren't we? I mean, what are you thinking on this?
I think we actually need to even go back a few steps before all of these automations and things. You saw what everybody was saying. Context is important. How do we get context? We need to have our documentation well prepared. And this is the step, I think, my biggest takeaway from this show is the processes, documentation, and the things that we do that I would like to teach AI are in the proper state, filed, explained, confirmed, no ambiguity, because you can only teach AI if you can teach the person. That's a lot of technical people say. And whenever somebody says you need to upload intakes or doing it still ATS, I don't know, but probably just for a lot of things it's automate, but our documentation, please correct me if I'm wrong, but it's usually a mess, and our intakes usually also have a lot of, this kind of thing. So maybe a step before you train any AI, you just look into what do you have? Do you have a good content? Do you have a look or something that you can really give AI to work with?
I think that's a mic drop type of observation, Alla, because it's actually what I've got to do. It's like my processes are so organically evolved, which is code for bad. It's just a mess. Okay. It's a total mess. But to improve them, if I have the mentality to say, if I'm going to automate this, I can't expect the AI to just interpret the mess. Can I put it into some sort of shape? Can I improve the data quality such that AI can actually use it? Then that's actually going to improve my processes, even if I don't use AI in the end. But that's a very good point. You've got to document your processes, really as if you're training a recruiter for the first time. It's a cliche, but it's true, isn't it? Let's say a 16-year-old kid walks into your business, wants to be a recruiter.
Intern, yeah.
That's fine. I'm pro child labor. I've made the case last week in Open Kitchen. I'm gonna defend it.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, I think we need it.
I'm backing off. Yes. Okay.
I think we need it.
Old.
Yeah. I think we need it because I don't think I basically we need to rebuild the career ladder earlier. That's what I'm thinking. We've got to get the younger people into it. They can't land into the world of work at 21 and think it's going to happen. It's too late. So anyway. You've got to document process and you've got to walk them through step by step. That's what you've got to do with AI. Walk it through step by step. And you're brilliant at this, Ala, which is interacting with the initial return and interaction with the feedback, the human calibration. That's where you're going to get the takeoff value and then move it on from there. Yes, good stuff. Ala, listen, you've been great. Thank you so much for sitting with me. I'm hanging on. You didn't notice, but I was sort of psychologically hanging on to you because I was thinking, you know what? If these fellas end up saying something I don't understand, Ala's going to be able to say something.
No, I put all the links, so don't worry. So all the tools they mentioned are there in the chat, so don't worry.
Yeah. Good stuff. Okay, listen, I've got to let you go. So thank you so much for being patient and spending the time with us. I'm going to see you digitally soon anyway. But you take care of yourself. You have a good weekend. And thanks for joining.
Thanks so much, everyone. Bye.
Okay, that's it, everybody. Hope you enjoyed it. Our longest show ever, but I think it deserves it. We'll probably end up doing another one. In fact, we've got a bunch of automation shows to come next week. What have we got? We've actually got a demo. We've got loads of things going on. Brain Food Live. I think it's going to be a Easter Good Friday next week. Get my head together. So we're not going to do Friday, but we do have 2 shows in the midweek. So follow the channel if you're interested in learning about that. And we're going to do another automation show with a couple of our guests today. In about 3 weeks' time, we're going to actually try and do something with OpenClaw. So this is where we're diving well into the deep end. So if you fancy all of that, make sure you follow the channel here on Crowdcast. You're watching this on LinkedIn. Follow my channel follow my page on LinkedIn, because basically whenever I'm live streaming, it will also go out on LinkedIn Live. All right, that's it. Hope you enjoyed it. See you later.